All right, we're gonna go live in just a few moments. Running a little bit late. Had to make a few adjustments and it's just running behind. I'm gonna go ahead and tweet out the stream real quick here. And then as soon as I get that done, we will go live. Just gonna take me a second here. Well, I'm gonna go live in just a moment. Okay, got that tweeted out. Let's go ahead and get this. Let's get this party started. All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host Chuck Stevenson. Welcome to the weekend preview for the weekend of today, November 18th. Got a lot of good fights to preview tonight. And plus, we got a big topic because we actually lost one of the biggest fights this weekend earlier today with one champion, with the only ladies MMA bout for one championship this weekend getting canceled. So it's Hirata versus Sahi Ham is canceled. The fight is off. It's Hirata, missed hydration. And then, the way that one championship's rules are, you got to be within a certain hydration according to specific urine, specific gravity. And then you weigh in. But the way they're doing it now, if you don't make hydration, you don't even weigh in. So until you can pass that hydration and weigh in and be underweight, then it goes basically to a catch weight if both fighters agree to it. And it came out that Sahi Ham announced on her official Instagram that the fight was off. Now, her original post, which is the picture you see here, her original post was all in Korean, and then I reposted it on Twitter, and then I also did that on. You might have seen it on the YouTube channel page here on the community post. I put it through an automatic translator and then posted it. But then she later on released an official statement in English as well. So we're going to go ahead and go over that. It says, for the Level 1 Championship, Sir Yod Chatri, meaning Chatri Sit Yod Tong, and all the staffs, I really wanted to fight tomorrow as much as possible, but I decided to cancel my fight. I thought about it very deeply until the very end and came up with the answer. So far in my one championship journey, I've never passed hydration and weight test on my first try. It always took me several tries to pass, and I was so embarrassed about that. So this time, I really trained hard every single day, shed a lot of blood and tears, and prepared so well for it. And I finally passed hydration and weight test today on my very first try. But my opponent failed both weight and hydration until the end. If I had a different opponent, I would have accepted the fight no matter what, because I believe that everybody makes mistakes once. But if they make the same mistake twice, thrice, and even more, I think that's a big problem. This was not her first time to do this. She did this several times already. And even after she failed again this time, she didn't show a single bit of gesture of apology or self-reflection. I knew she failed weight and hydration so many times before, but I told myself, this time she won't. She will make it this time. If she's a real professional athlete, she will do it this time. I think I believed her too much. If I was someone who fought only for money, I wouldn't have accepted this fight from the first place. I love one championship and I love to fight. So whenever one championship needs me, I will fight against anyone. As most of you guys already know, I purely love this sport so much. So for the past 18 years in this game, I never said no to any opponent. I fought against anyone. But this opponent, I don't think she even has the basics to call herself a mixed martial artist or professional fighter. It seems like she just hates being too tired, so she just fails hydration and weight, gives opponents penalty, and goes out there to fight. It might have worked out for her until now, but not this time. I hope she feels embarrassed about this. And I hope she realizes how many people she's affecting by her doing this irresponsible action. Of course, I know that some of you will say it's just a missed weight. Why not just fight her? But I please hope you understand this time. I kept all my promises with one championship and did everything that I was supposed to do to my best ability as a professional fighter. I would like to once again thank Sir Chatri, One Championship, and all the staffs for giving me this opportunity, and I'm so sorry. I would also like to thank you and sorry to all my fans who've been waiting for my fight tomorrow. I'll always stay ready. I'll see you all very soon. I think it's safe to say that Ham was just a little bit mad, just a little bit. Uh, and, you can see it. Let me see if I can pull up. When they faced off, you could see the anger in Ham's face. I'll try to pull it up real quick here. Here, I'll enlarge this. So this was the video for the weigh-ins, their face-off, and I'll enlarge it here. This is a courtesy of React Q on YouTube. Definitely one of the channels you want to check out for women's MMA footage. So here's Hirata. She stepped on the scale. They already mentioned. Look at the look on Ham's face. Like, this is a look. I've never seen her look this intense before a fight at an opponent. She just looks. Like, see, even Hirata turned first, and Ham just kept looking at her for a second, like I'm not done giving you the evil eye yet. So Ham was. It's safe to say Ham was not happy. So the fight is off, and that's Ham's choice. And can anyone say that they blame her? I mean, if it, like she said, down right here. When she said, if I had a different opponent, I would have accepted the fight no matter what, because I believe that everybody makes mistakes once. So yeah, I think a lot of times, if a fighter will miss weight, most opponents will accept it. They'll just take the extra money, even though it's risky. She says, but if they make the same mistake twice, thrice, and even more, I think that's a big problem. And I agree, of course. If you miss weight, if you're missing weight multiple times, something's going on. Something's wrong. Either you're in the wrong weight class, or you're just doing it on purpose. And you hate to assume that fighters are being belligerent like that, but it happens. It happens. It says this was not her first time to do this. She did this several times already, and even after she failed again this time, she didn't show a single bit of gesture of apology or self-reflection. And this actually reminds me of the Lin He-Chin fight. Lin said the same thing, basically. Like, she missed the weight and hydration, and the fight went on as a catch weight. Lynn accepted the catch weight, but Lynn was like, "Yeah, Hirata just seemed like it's no big deal. Like, oh well, let's just get on with it." And basically, she never even tried to continue making weight and hydration because if I remember right, Lynn missed weight at first and then kept running. And she said the whole time Hirata was standing around and the Abima TV film crew was there and they were like recording her and talking about her while Lynn was trying to work out and get her weight down. So what Ham's talking about, she didn't show a single bit of gesture of apology or self-reflection. Ham's not the first time to bring this up about Hirata. But even still, Ham said, she's not. She kept telling herself, she's going to make it this time. Uh, she said she believed in Hirata to do it this time. And I think Ham was willing to, like Ham, she'll admit, she's had a hard time with the weight and hydration things. She put it up here. I've never had passed weight, hydration, and weight tests on my first try. It always took me several tries to pass. Both fights, it took her to like the last time chance to do it to pass because she was just having a hard time adjusting. And she admits she was embarrassed. Says I was so embarrassed about this. So this time I really trained hard every single day. Excuse me. Shed a lot of blood and tears and prepared so well for it. And I finally passed hydration and weight test today on my very first try. And she made I think like 114, right around 114, and passed hydration. And she was on her Instagram stories like recording herself as she's running in a sweatsuit outside, making sure she's getting her weight down. She was working hard. By the way, the chat is open if you want to step in. Uh, just had to block an adult video link. And I think this things and this top paragraph here is interesting. It says, if I was someone who fought only for money, I wouldn't have accepted this fight from the first place. So I don't think she was getting necessarily a whole lot of money for this fight. Maybe is that what she's saying? I'm not sure. But she says she does it because she loves one championship and loves to fight. Like Ham took this as like a fight in order to stay busy instead of just waiting around on a championship bout. So I think I get what she's saying. Like if she only fought for money, uh, if she only fought for money, she wouldn't have taken a tune-up fight. She would have waited for the big money fight in the championship. But she says, she likes one championship and she loves to fight. And obviously, she's been fighting for many years now. So we know she likes to fight. And she mentions, she's never said no to any opponent. She's fought against anyone. I mean, she made her UFC debut when she fought in the UFC. She fought against Joanne Calderwood, and Calderwood like dwarfed her. Um, and then here's where she really scolded Hirata. I mean, I thought she scolded her before, but this is when she said, basically, she said, but this opponent, I don't think she even has the basics to call herself a mixed martial artist or professional fighter. It seems like she just hates being too tired, so she just fails hydration and weight, gives opponents penalty, and goes out there to fight. You can't even call that a burn. Like when I first thought that, I was like, "Oh, that's a burn." But now I think that's not even a burn. That's beyond that. This is an indictment. This is basically saying you're not a professional fighter. You're lazy and you just want the easy route. And that is one of the worst things you can accuse any professional, really. And like nobody likes to be told that they're lazy. Nobody likes to admit really that they'll take the easy route. Not at least in for someone like Ham, who takes all of this seriously, uh, so for her, yeah, this is like serious. And this even just digs it further. It might have worked out for her until now, but not this time. I hope she feels embarrassed about this, and I hope she realizes how many people she's affecting by her doing this irresponsible action. And she's right. It might have worked out for Hirata until now. It worked out in the Lin fight because she ended up winning that, and afterwards, a lot of people stopped talking about her missing weight, and it didn't come up again until this time. And other fighters might have thought, well, the promotion's really pushing this girl. If I don't want to turn down this fight against her, it might make the promotion mad at me. And that's a thing. And that's not just one championship. You'll see that in the UFC. You'll see that in a lot of promotions. If a favored fighter misses weight, a lot of the time later on, the opponents will admit that they felt pressured to take the fight. They were afraid to not take it because they don't want to miss out on the opportunity, and they don't want to, take a fight off of the fight card. And yeah, because the promoters, they depend on fights. So if you're basically taking a fight off of the fight card, that lowers the value not only of the event itself, that might change people's whole perception of the event and their purchase of it. Because one championship right now, it's still free in the US, but it's for pay-per-view elsewhere, especially in Japan. For Bima TV, they were charging for this one, and Hirata is one championship's most popular Japanese fighter. When she fights, one on a Bima does really good ratings. When she doesn't fight, their ratings aren't as good. And so, like, yeah, fighters like Lin Hachin, to bring her back up, might have felt pressure. But I think Ham, for herself, she's at the stage where you didn't make it. I don't have to feel pressure. Like, she's already accomplished enough in this sport, and I don't think she's necessarily hurting for money. Where she can just go, yeah, if you're not even going to bother to make weight, then I don't need to fight you. Let's go to the chat here real quick. Raw Hobbies and Lifestyle says, actually, one not even allowed to wear a sweatsuit and run. That's not true at all. Raw Hobbies and Lifestyle. I've seen fighters all the time on Instagram in sweatsuits running. It it's no secret that they put on those sweatsuits and go running. I mean, I've seen fighters literally on Instagram Live in sweatsuits running on a treadmill or running outside. Neil Skelton says, Hum always fails weight and hydration, but feels Hirata is different. Is this much different? Yes, it is. Because while she might have failed it initially, did end up making it in the end. I don't think either of her two prior fights ended up being at a catch weight, if I remember correctly. And she didn't just stop trying, she kept going and made sure. I remember her first fight, she didn't pass weight and hydration until noon of fight day, which means she was still struggling to make weight up to fight day. So you say she always fails weight and hydration. She failed it initially before. She might have done it initially, but she went back and worked and made sure that she ended up making the weight and hydration. So yes, there is a difference. Neil Skelton also says, just putting out there, Hom says never takes easy route, but thinks she has this time scared. That's just, you're simping. Why would Hom be afraid of fighter who's what does Itsuki Hirata bring to the game that Hom Sahi has not seen before? Why would she be scared? It's not about being scared. It's about teaching a lesson to a fighter who obviously needs to be taught a lesson. So now this brings up the question. Uh, or wait, let me go through chats real quick here. Easy E says nothing to add in chat yet. Just want to say hi. Well, how you doing, Easy E? And Raw Hobbies and Lifestyle says Hirata is one superstar. Well, they're certainly trying to make her one. That's for sure. So, big question is now, what happens next for these two fighters? For Hirata, I think one championship needs to bring her in for a sit down and talk with her because she's not gaining a good reputation for herself here. Like right before we went on, I was just scrolling through Twitter and I looked up Hirata's name in Japanese characters and then searched it on Twitter, and a lot of people were not happy, very disappointed. Uh, I think a lot of people were really looking forward to this fight and saying, well, she missed weight, she misses weight. A lot of people were like, even Japanese fans, because Ham's pretty well known to Japanese fight fans. I mean, she fought at least half of her career there. So she's well known to the Japanese fans. And like they even understand, like, if Ham says she's not going to fight her, then they understand because of the weight. And that's a big thing. In Japan, weight misses are heavily penalized. Heavily penalized. Now it differs from promotion to promotion. So each promotion handles it differently because there's no one single, Japanese athletic commission. But I've seen fighters miss weight before, and basically, if they went on to win via finish, it was declared a no contest. I've seen fighters basically were told, we're penalizing your paycheck so bad you're practically fighting for free, and then those fighters still went on and fought. Uh, I've seen fighters, yeah, I've seen fights canceled because of it. That's the worst one, is when fights get canceled, and then the fans just start bagging on them. What else? But yeah, I've seen heavy cash penalties. I've seen heavy points penalties. I've seen it to where basically in Japan, if you miss weight, you're not going to win a fight. Even if you submit your opponent in the first round or knock them out, guess what? It's a no contest, which means you just wasted your time out there because your record goes nowhere. So in Japan, missing weight is serious. So I think one championship needs to sit Hirata down and have a serious talk with her and maybe just say, hey, you're not working out at atom weight, time to go up to straw weight. Because Lord knows they need fighters at straw weight right now. They need them up at straw weight. Get Hirata a win or two up at straw weight, and then boom, have her challenge Sion for the title. That division needs contenders. Because not only does this make Hirata look bad, it makes one look bad in that they're trying to promote this young lady. Also, because of their partnership with Abima TV, which is, a large streaming service in Japan, it makes Abima look bad because Abima pushes Hirata hard. As much as one pushes her, Abima pushes her hard too because, like I said, when Hirata fights for one, they get their best ratings on Abima. When she's not fighting, their ratings don't do as well. So, yeah, Hirata is basically the Japanese superstar for one championship. So for her to not fight, that hurts Abima, and that's going to hurt their pay-per-view buys in a a country that typically doesn't do pay-per-view. So um, yeah, this is affecting more than just Hirata herself and her own paycheck. This is affecting one's bottom line, and this is affecting Abima TV's bottom line. For Ham, we don't know. I mean, maybe they'll just make the title fight now, her against Angela Lee. Maybe they'll try to hurry up and get her another fight against someone before then. It's hard to say. We don't even know what their attitude towards her is going to be at this point, because they might be mad because of the fight cancellation. I mean, we don't know what they tried to say to her beforehand. Um, maybe we just don't know. Excuse me. But hopefully they'll just, I mean, as a Ham fan, I'd like to see her fight for the title. But I thought this was going to be like a good tune-up fight for her. But we'll see. Uh, I just think this is a shame. But honestly, I think this was the right thing to do. Like, I'm disappointed as a fan that I don't get to see the fight, but I understand where she's coming from. And when a fighter misses weight and they do it repeatedly, they should be made to feel sorry. Like, I mentioned this before, but I wrestled in school. I only missed weight twice out of 4 years of high school varsity wrestling. And both times, I was made to feel like absolute trash by the coaches, by my teammates. You miss weight and you screw it up for everyone else on your team, you're gonna get heck, and you're gonna pay for it in the gym the next day at practice. That's for darn sure. But I missed weight my very first match in high school, my freshman year. First time that I was supposed to cut weight, and I didn't know what I was doing. And also, I just went home. I was so hungry, and I ate a big plate of spaghetti like an idiot. And then I forget if it was that year or maybe the next year, there was a big tournament, and I missed weight. But I still ended up going into the tournament. Uh, there was some wheeling and dealing between my coach and some of the other coaches that went on. So I don't know about that. But both times, I was made to feel like trash for missing weight like that. So this is honestly, this is what more fighters need to do. This is the only way to make fighters learn or to force fighters to move up in weight, is to basically take the fight out from under them, take the glory out, take their route to money away from them completely. That's the only way to do it. And I understand, like I said earlier, it's hard because you might not get paid yourself. You might lose your money. They might lose their money if they do good. But as a fighter, if you turn down a fight because your opponent missed weight, you might lose your money. You might lose your standing with the promotion. You might lose a shot at a title. It's hard. It's hard to say, to put your foot down and say no. But this is how it happens, because too many times fighters miss weight, then they go out there and win. And not only was the weight miss forgotten, they get rewarded for the win. I've seen it too many times in this sport. And the only way to truly punish the fighters who miss weight is to make them look bad in the eyes of the promotion. And that's by not allowing them to fight. Um, so, yeah, I think that's how this has to be going forward. But it is a shame that the fight's off, but I don't blame Ham. I don't blame Ham, because like when fighters have done this before, I thought they were doing the right thing. Leslie Smith did it to Aspen Ladd. Sarah McMahon did it against Aspen Ladd. So there's two examples with the same fighter who didn't learn their lesson beforehand. So that's the only way to really make things change with fighters, at least on that fighter to fighter level in a sport where weight cutting is so serious. Let's go to the chat. Raw Hobbies and Lifestyle says one more question we need to know. How many exactly is Hirata miss? It must be a lot for Ham doesn't want to fight. Well, this one and the Lin Chin fight. Before that, I'm not exactly sure. Because you got to remember, for a while, we had no idea what was going on behind the scenes and with the weights and results. NHJ in the chat, what's up, Jay? Says Mizuki has an L and finished her opponent because she missed weight. Mizuki Inoue, I believe so, and I believe she still missed though. Let me look her record up real quick. But I do remember her missing weight and technically winning, but then losing officially. Yeah, she finished Emi Tomomatsu in the third round, but then the fight was overturned because of the result was overturned because of the weight miss. And then she faced Tomomatsu again in like 6 months later and defeated her in the first round. And I think that was for like the Deep Jewels strawweight title at the time. So like basically the fighter who got submitted in that fight, the fighter who lost and got finished was awarded the title. Easy E says, you think wrestling coaches are bad? Try soccer coaches. I played soccer from grade school to college, and every single coach I had was an ass. LOL. Yeah, I can't say anything. I only played soccer for 2 years, and the coaches were pretty laid back and chill, mostly because our team was hurting for players. So you couldn't like get mad at players and have them quit because otherwise you wouldn't have a team. So yeah, when I was in school playing soccer, that both years the coaches were pretty chill. I mean, they could get intense during the game, and they'd get upset because we were a terrible team. But I can imagine soccer coaches getting mad. Football coaches are like that. Uh, all coaches are. I mean, they're intense people. You're coaching, a sport. You tend to get pretty intense. NHJ says I got a couple hundred on Lad over Bud. Not a bad decision there. Neil Skelton says, how many times has Hirata missed weight? Seems like whatever Ham says goes. I think you need to ask a question of Hirata and not make presumptions pure conjecture. You sound like a Hirata fan, dude. How many times has Hirata missed weight? Well, at least twice now. At least twice now. And I think it's not, and obviously it's not just a matter of how much she misses weight or that she misses weight. It seems to be a question of her attitude as well. Because Ham's not the first fighter to say she has a bad attitude about it. Lin Chin said the same thing too. Jay says Mizuki missed. Yeah, she missed weight and then submitted Tomomatsu, but the result was overturned. Raw Hobbies and Lifestyle says Lin Chin fight Hirata missed 3 kilograms. Yeah, she kept missing hydration and then had to keep drinking water, and then by then she was like 3 kilograms over and couldn't make weight. So I'm not sure what the exact details for this fight are, but I know that she tried like 3 times and failed every time. So all right, so that is it for that topic. Let's move on to the weekend preview. So technically, this fight already went down early this morning because it was in Australia. But in a flyweight bout, Lisa Kiriako on the right-hand side there defeated Mary Jane Buna. I remember it's submission due to rear naked choke. I don't remember the exact time of the finish. But I wanted to include this. I wanted to shout out Lisa Kiriako. This young lady, this was her fourth fight this year. She improved to 5-1 with this bout. She fought 4 times this year, won all 4 fights. Wanted to give a shout out to a warrior fighting 4 times in 1 year like that. That's impressive. Um, you see that a lot in boxing, where fighters will fight a bunch in quick succession. When they're first starting out. MMA, you don't see it as often. Of course, everyone knows about Weili Zhang. She fought like 6 times 1 year and 7 times the next year, or something along those lines. But other than that, I can't remember the last time someone fought so many times in 1 year. But Lisa Kiriako getting it done 4 times in 2022. So shout out to her. She's a warrior, or what is her nicknames? I think the Savage. Yeah, that's pretty savage. Fighting 4 times in 1 year. But tonight, I think the cards already started over on UFC Fight Pass. We have Titan FC number 80. We have a featherweight bout. Evelyn Martins taking on Hilda Benitez. Evelyn Spartan Martins coming in at 2-0. Benitez making her pro debut. Let's see. Looks like Martins is 20-30 for Benitez. No other stats for Benitez. Martins is 5 feet 8 inches tall, 173 centimeters, with a reach of 67.5 inch, 171 centimeters. Go with Martins on this one. Uh, she's only fought for Titan so far, if I remember correctly, and she seems to be a favored one of their favorite fighters. But she looks good so far. Like, she's still getting started out. She's only 20 years old, only on her third fight, but she looks like a promising. She could be a prospect there. So keep an eye out on Evelyn Martins. Then also on Fight Pass, we have LFA 147. Now there's a few fights, ladies fights on this card, but this is the one I wanted to draw attention to the most. We have Invicta veteran and Ultimate Fighter Season 30 veteran Helen Peralta taking on Alini Pajeda. And Alini Pajeda, if you missed the community post I made about this, Pajeda is the sister of new UFC middleweight champion Alex Pajeda. And just like her brother, she's a former Glory kickboxing champ. So this is one to keep an eye on. This is her actually her MMA debut. So looking at the stats, Peralta is 5-3 in MMA. Pajeda making her debut. And now Peralta's coming in off of a decision loss to Poliana Botelho at Invicta just over a month ago. Not sure the last time Pajeda fought. No age listed for Alini Pajeda on Tapology. Peralta's 34, and I don't have any other stats for Pajeda either. But this is at flyweight. Peralta's only 5 feet 1 inch, 155 centimeters tall, which makes her short for flyweight. This will be interesting to see. I mean, we don't know how good Pajeda will adapt her style to MMA, but we know she's going to be good on the feet. Peralta can mix it up. We know she's capable of mixing it up, but it will just be a matter of how well she can mix it up against a striker like Pajeda, who overall her striking should be much cleaner than Peralta's. So we'll see. I'm leaning towards Peralta though, just via experience. But if Pajeda can get by a veteran like her, like an MMA veteran like Peralta, she could be very promising. So we move on to Lux Fight League 28. Once again, this is on UFC Fight Pass because they practically have a monopoly on smaller promotions. But Lux 28 features not one but two women's championships. First up, we have the an interim strawweight championship between Yahaira Shoko Romo and Andrea Vasquez. Pull up topology here. But Choco Latte, Yahaira Romo is coming in at 8-6. Vasquez, less experienced at 3-1. Both ladies are coming in off of recent wins, off of 2 straight wins. Vasquez last fought 4 months ago, picked up a win via TKO. Romo last fought 3 months ago, picked up a decision win. Both of these ladies have been fighting recently for Lux. Let's see, looks like Romo is 35-28 for Vasquez. We got, looks like Romo slightly taller at 5 feet 5 inches, 164 centimeters, to 5 feet 4 inches, 162 centimeters for Vasquez. Don't have reaches listed. I'm taking Shoko Romo or Shoko Latte, the Yahaira Romo on this one. She's got that experience. She has, okay, you look at the fighters here, their records for Lux. Vasquez has fought one more time for Lux than Romo has, but overall experience, Romo has 14 fights to only 4 for Vasquez. So I'm going to go with the more experienced fighter here in Shoko Romo. Then in the flyweight title, we have, for the flyweight championship, we have Victoria Alba, who, if I remember correctly, is the current champ, taking on Ellie Rodriguez. Let's see. I know they have the stats on the thing here, but I also like to bring up topology just in case. So Alba is 2-0. Rodriguez is 1-2 as a professional. Let's see. Alba last fought, defeated Daniela Villasmil 7 months ago, almost 8 months ago, via TKO. Rodriguez coming in off of a split decision loss to the same fighter, Daniela Villasmil. Via split decision loss, that was a year ago, which is interesting. So they share a common opponent here. Rodriguez is 1 year the elder, 31-30. Looks like they're the same height, 5 feet 7 inches, 170 centimeters, which is about average for a pair of flyweights. I've watched these two ladies fight before, but I don't particularly remember them very well. So I'm not making a pick here. I want to say Alba is the sitting champion. Darn if I can remember. Let me look up a record real quick here. Yes, she is the current champion. She won it in her last bout. I remember Lux had a flyweight tournament to decide a champion. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not, like I said, I don't really remember much of either of these two. So moving on, also tonight, this one's not on Fight Pass, but we have Combate Global is going to be on tonight on Paramount Plus for English, Univision TUDN for Spanish. Check your local listings. But on the prelims, we have an atomweight bout with Natty Ice Schlesinger taking on Jareli Reyes. Let's see here. Schlesinger coming in at 1-1. Reyes coming in at 0-1. So she's looking for her first win. Let's see what else we got here. Schlesinger is definitely the elder fighter out of these two. She's 34 to Reyes's 21. So 13-year age gap between these two. And it looks like Reyes is the slightly taller fighter at 5'3" to 5'1" for Schlesinger. Fortunately, Topology doesn't have the stats for this, so I'm looking them up on a different website. It's not as concise. This is one of those fights I don't really have a pick for. I watched Reyes's debut. She did okay, but of course she lost. Schlesinger, I don't remember seeing her before, so I can't really make a pick on this one. But this is the important fight on Combate Global tonight. Flyweight co-main event, number 1 ranked flyweight in Combate Global. Maritza Sanchez taking on the number 7th ranked flyweight, Dee Begley. Both ladies are coming in at 3-1. Sanchez last fought back in, I want to say, March or April. What was that? I think April, coming in off of a decision win over Aitana Alvarez. Begley's coming in off of a win back in, I want to say, June over Jessica Ortega. That was in August. No, actually, I'm pretty sure it was. No, it was in August, right? Her fight got pushed back. Anyway, Sanchez is going to have a nice height advantage here at 5 feet 7 inches to Begley's 5 feet 2 inches. So not only is this important for the rankings, but I talked about this before, but I have sponsored Maritza Sanchez in this fight and for her next fight. So if you watch the fights, keep an eye out. My channel logo that you usually see at the end of every video and stream. Look for the channel logo on somewhere on her shorts. So keep an eye out for that. And hopefully this partnership will work out for both of us. But I'm going with Maritza. I can't even put aside my bias on this one. When you put money on something, you're basically letting your bias take over. But I think Maritza is number 1 for a reason. She's a good prospect, very promising young fighter. She's only 24 years old, if I remember correctly. Yep, she's 24 to Begley's 28, so she's 4 years younger. Yeah, I saw the chance to sponsor her, and I took it. So, War Maritza, get one, kick some ass. So keep an eye out on this one. And then tomorrow we have the UFC. A couple of these fights I'm really excited about. This is one of them. It's UFC Fight Night, Lewis versus Spivak. This is the opening bout in the flyweight division. Natalia Silva taking on undefeated prospect Teresa Letta, who I've been keeping an eye on for a couple years now. And at the beginning of the year, I named her, the prospect to watch in 2022. So we're going to see if she manages to live up to that. So looking at the stats here, Silva has the more experience at 13-5-1. Tabletta is 6-0. Both ladies are riding nice win streaks, of course. Silva last fought, defeated Jasmine Jazz the Vicious via unanimous decision 4 months ago. Bleda fought a little over a month ago, this says, on the Contender Series. No, it wasn't that recent, was it? No, it was like over 2 months ago, back in September. where she defeated Naira Maya via unanimous decision. Bleda is the younger fighter at 20 to 25 for Silva. Bleda's going to have a nice height advantage here. 5 feet 9 inches, 175 centimeters, to 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters for Silva. Reach advantage as well for Bleda. 71 inches, 180 centimeters, to 65 inches, 165 centimeters for Silva. I think this fight is largely uh, it's going to depend. Silva changed a lot from her earlier fights to when she fought, how she fought last time. She looked very fast. I mean, she looked very fast. Granted, it was against Jasmine Jasdavicius, who's pretty slow. Bleda's not the fastest of fighters, but she's very physical. She's very strong. And she can stand up. She can fight on the feet, but she likes to take it to the ground as well. I think it just depends on what version of Natalia Silva shows up tomorrow, who wins this one. She could end up looking like how she did against Jasdavicius, or we might see, the Teresa Bleda that we saw in Octagon, which is what I really want to see. She looked good in the Contender Series, but I want to see the Bleda that we saw in Octagon show up, because that was a young lady who showed that she deserved to be in the UFC. See what the odds are on this here. Bleda is a slight underdog at plus 150. Slight favorite Silva at minus 185. 65% of voters on Tapology are taking Silva. I'm leaning towards Bleda, but I think this is going to be a good one. We'll see, what each of these fighters really brings tomorrow evening. Then we have a strawweight bout with Vanessa Demopoulos taking on Maria Oliveira. See, Demopoulos coming in at 8-4, Oliveira coming in at 13-5. Both ladies coming in off of wins. Demopoulos coming in off 2 straight wins. Most recently defeated Jinyu Fry via split decision 3.5 months ago. Oliveira coming in off of her first UFC win about 4.5 months ago over Gloria DePaulo via split decision. Let's see. Oliveira is 9 years younger. She's 25 to 34 for Demopoulos. Oliveira is going to have a nice height advantage, 5 feet 6 inches, 168 centimeters, to 5 feet 2 inches, 157 centimeters for Demopoulos. And Oliveira has the reach advantage as well, 69 inches, 175 centimeters, to 62 inches, 157 centimeters for Vanessa Demopoulos. Oof. Demopoulos does not want to stand up with Oliveira in this bout. She does not want to stand with her. If Demopoulos spends too much time trying to stand, she's gonna get finished. She's gonna get TKO'd standing, or she'll end up collapsing and getting TKO'd. But Demopoulos has to get this to the ground, one way or another. Now, if it goes to the ground, Demopoulos has it easy. Oliveira's not particularly great on the ground. Seen enough of it to know that I'm not confident for her to beat Demopoulos there. So this all depends on who can implement their game plan. If Oliveira keeps it on the feet, she wins. Demopoulos gets her down, she wins. I think Demopoulos is going to, the fight has to start on the feet, but I think that Demopoulos is going to be able to get her down, and get the submission here. So we're going to go with Vanessa Demopoulos to take this one. And then finally, yep, finally, I believe this fight's on the main card at flyweight. Oh no, this is still on the prelims as well. All the ladies' fights are on the prelims. Uh, at flyweight, we have Jennifer Maia taking on Marina Moroz. Now, both of these fighters are ranked at flyweight. So, pull up the rankings real quick here. Hey, nice. The UFC actually wants to work today. So, Marina Moroz is currently ranked at number 15. She was previously unranked, and Maya is ranked at number 8. So, this is a big chance for Moroz to break not only into the top, really break into the top 15. She'll likely break into the top 10 with this win here. See, Maya coming in at 19-9-1. Moroz coming in at 11-3. Maya's on a 2-fight skid, losing to Katlyn Chukagian and then Manon Fiorot. Most recently, that was 7 months ago. Moroz is on a 3-fight winning streak, though, since moving up to flyweight. She defeated Spina Mazo a while back, then Maya Bueno Silva. Most recently, she fought Maria Agapova 7 months ago. Let's see. Moroz is the younger fighter at 31-34 for Maya. Moroz slightly taller at 5 feet 7 inches to 170 centimeters to 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters for Maya. Moroz has the reach advantage as well, 67 inches, 170 centimeters to 64 inches, 163 centimeters. I'm going with Moroz here. I think the areas that she's been making improvements on, which is, her boxing range and then to clinch range, the improvements I've been seeing out of her really favors her against Maya because those are Maya's, you know, stronger spots, like the clinch in close. She hasn't been doing so good lately. Now, granted, she was fighting, higher level fighters than what Moroz has shown so far. But I think Maya has peaked. I mean, honestly, she probably peaked several years ago. And mostly she's just been like holding steady. Whereas Moroz, she moved down to American Top Team and she's just been getting better and better and better with each fight. Now, granted, she takes a long time between each fight. I mean, this is a fast turnaround for her at 7 months, but the improvements that she's been showing have been really impressive. So I'm going to go with the Iron Lady Marina Moroz to win tomorrow night. Right, so that's really all I have for tonight. That's your preview for the weekend. Let me see. I got to get caught up on the chats here. Before I go into the chats, uh, friendly reminder to hit that like button. It helps draw people to the stream even after it ends. So hit that like button. Raw Hobbies and Lifestyle says basically for Hirata fans, Hirata's still undefeated up until now. Yeah, that is the way of the fanboy. NHJ says, is Peralta going to have to take an alcohol saturation test before the fight? Dang. Yeah, she was hitting the booze on Tough 30 on that one episode. At least one episode. NHJ also says, Bledo versus Silva is a dog or pass. So does that mean either go for the underdog or pass as a bet? Rigidity in the chat. What's up, Rigidity? Says, lots of Hirata fans in here making excuses, lol. Just one. Just the one guy. And NHJ says, I got the mop list at minus 225, finish only, scorecards, no action. Okay, so we've got a sports better in here in NHJ. I'm I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not a better. I do not trust MMA enough to bet it. I don't trust the fighters. I don't trust the judges. I don't trust anything about this sport enough to bet on it. All right. So that is it. So we talked about Hirata versus Ham and previewed for the weekend. So, the fight I was most looking forward to got canceled. Obviously, it sucks, but life goes on. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of this afterwards. What one championship's going to do with both fighters because they've got some decision making to do. So we'll keep an eye out for that. The other fights I'm most looking forward to would be, I would say, Teresa Pleta versus Silva and Moroz versus Maya. Been keeping my eye on Pleta since she debuted, and really before she made her pro MMA debut. And then been a fan of Moroz ever since she basically, she absolutely dominated Joanne Calderwood mentally going in the lead up to that fight. I mean, broke her spirit before they even fought. So I've been a fan of Moroz ever since then. But and of course, can't forget Combate Global tonight. Maritza, War Maritza. Easy E says Bellator is on now. Yes, Bellator is on right now, and One Championship is also live right now. So we're gonna get going. I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna let all you guys go. Don't forget to hit that like button. Last chance for anything in the chat. Otherwise, if you're watching a replay, if you want to say anything, drop a comment. But please remember to hit that like button. And if you haven't yet subscribed to WMAC Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. One last chat from Easy E says Calderwood was always pretty overrated to me. I agree. All right, that's it for me tonight. We'll see you. I'm going to try to do a um, weekend recap on Sunday because I'm thinking of changing how I do things with the live streams right now. And maybe instead of just doing one big one on each week, which I've been missing out on a lot lately, I'm going to try to break it up into two smaller streams. So we'll try to do a weekend recap either Sunday or Tuesday night. Mondays are no good for me, but either Sunday or Tuesday night, we'll do a weekend recap. But we'll see you next time. There we go. There we go. See you next time, guys.